Ultimate MK Podquest.
Much has changed since the last Mortal Kombat TV show. Dark forces of boredom have begun invading the Earth realm. These attacks are seriously weakening Earth's dimensional fabric, enabling not only cartoons to enter the podcast, but characters from other old shows as well. Only the most extraordinary podcasters could possibly meet this challenge. Corey, Neil, driven by purpose and bound by honor, these are the defenders of the cats.
MK Podcast.
Anybody listening who follows us on social media may have recently seen that we were doing some participatory democracy. We were putting up some polls, and I just want to say really quick, anybody who looked at those character choices and didn't vote for the Warrior King's orb is a fucking coward.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're all wrong.
You're all wrong. You're completely wrong. This orb can do anything for anybody at infinite power levels all the time. And you're out here like, oh, but I think I like the color red and Bison was red. Shut up. You're wrong.
Orb needs to be nerfed. They need to release an update.
Listeners,
new character in Smash Brothers, Warrior King's Orb.
What would it take to get orb trending on Twitter? Just the word orb.
I don't know. I'm just going to hashtag everything from here on out with orb, every post we make.
I feel like a lot of contexts exist in which the word orb is applicable.
Yeah, some of them are probably gross.
Yeah, it could trend without us. It could trend with us. That would be cool. I just want everybody to sit at home and do a long, hard think and wonder if you've been doing enough for the orb today.
Yeah.
Seeing as we decided to just do a whole 4-part crossover event just amongst ourselves to try to make it, hashtag all about the orb.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that more of us should be living our lives that way. My parents didn't understand. They were like, so what do you want for your birthday, which recently passed? And all I said in response was orb.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And just nobody said anything else. Nobody understands why all these people in their 20s want orbs.
He's got to get those orbs, man. Here's my declaration. No more voice messages. None. If you want to reach us, tweet it, hashtag orb.
That can include audio files.
That's how you get to us.
I just want... So
also, we will still accept voice messages.
For anybody listening who's married, you know how wedding anniversaries have like a corresponding material or something?
Oh, yeah.
Like this one's the wood anniversary, and you go like chop down a tree together or something.
And
I don't know.
The paperversary where you just, you make those little fortune teller things.
All I'm saying is there's no good reason why from this year on in your personal marriage, whoever's married and listening,
yeah,
every year is an orbiversary. And I know what you're thinking. I can't possibly find the orb. It's in space. And you'd be right. But what you can do is just think about the orb, model your life about the orb, ask WWOD what would orb do, probably shoot some lightning or something. That's probably what it would do. And just sort of, channel orb power into your everyday. I just don't think enough of us are doing that. Neil, I know you got a birthday coming up as well. I see no reason why you don't make it, a little bit orb-centric.
My whole list, my whole plan.
My whole life.
They're like, what do you, families like, what do you want for your birthday? Orb. Friends are like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I want to do orb.
Hello, it's me, the Orb Master, the Orb Doer. Do you remember the hit live-action / animated film, The Page Master?
I mostly remember Cool World, but sure, yeah, Page Master.
With everyone's favorite Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
What if it was the Orb Master, and you took all the books out of the library and you replaced them with the superior orbs?
Speaking of animation,
speaking of superior orbs,
the Heavy Metal movie and I think Heavy Metal 2000 both revolve around a magic orb.
All of life revolves around magic orbs in one way or another if you think about it hard enough.
Here's the synopsis for Heavy Metal. A glowing green orb which embodies ultimate evil.
Green magic.
A glowing green orb which embodies ultimate evil terrorizes a young girl with an anthology of bizarre and fantastic stories of dark fantasy, eroticism, and horror.
I think that it could be argued that the Mortal Kombat orb could stand to be slightly more erotic, but it's got the power thing covered.
I mean, it's pretty erotic. You saw that Savage Dragon episode.
I wish I hadn't. You know, I can think of the one best example of the orb's power, and it's a segue.
Okay, let's do it. Wait, one.
It had the power to make a good episode of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, this was a good one. I mean, comparatively.
Relative to the rest of it, which of course is mostly shit.
This was a quality episode. I got one thing I want to touch on before we jump in. Shout out to Dave Grin Reaper over there on YouTube. He did clarify for us, like I asked. Bison's Superman move is the Psycho Crusher, not the Psycho Drive.
That's my favorite
bad.
Talking Head song.
You made that joke last time.
Did I actually? Are you serious?
100% you did.
Has this move come up before?
When we talked about this on the Street Fighter one.
I thought you said it wrong. I thought that's what the correction you just made was. Am I misunderstanding what's happening?
It doesn't matter. Let's talk about some fucking orbs, man. Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm episode...
Defenders Orb the Realm.
9? Yeah, 9.
Yeah.
Resurrection.
I'm just going to get out in front. The Warrior King's not really in this one.
No, he's not.
He's not really in this one. And I don't know what they were worried about, per se.
Look, Sean Catherine Derrick had a vision, and the Warrior King didn't fit into it, but his magic orb sure did.
If the Warrior King fit into Sean Catherine Derrick's magical vision... it would have been on Mortal Kombat Conquest, and it wasn't.
Sean Catherine Derrick's like, our world is fucking brutal and violent, and there's skeletons and flesh growing back into people, and Warrior King is just like, he's got to sit this one out. He's a coward.
There's Prometheus men.
This world, we got Shadow Priests, we got... He can't cut it here. Warrior King can't cut it here. He's on the sidelines. And you know what? Probably a better episode for it, honestly. Could you imagine?
Oh, this would have been a hot pile of shit if the Warrior King was actually in it. Can you imagine that dude doing his stupid shtick where he talks, but he was saying it all to Jax, and Jax was just one-linering everywhere. That's all they let Jax do.
No, see, Jax was important for this episode. If they had the Warrior King in here, it would have been the Warrior King and Raiden fucking around.
And nobody wants that. Not a single living human.
Sean Catherine Derrick knew better.
It does make me wonder to what extent they had an episode written where Shang Tsung gets resurrected, and they were just like, what if he had an orb?
It's just a coincidence. That's what tipped them off. They're like, let's connect this to the other shows, and then we'll just insert this little shadowy shot of a dude running through a portal, and that'll be the connection. I remember you
saying something to the effect of, the Warrior King looks shittier on Defenders of the Realm. It's because he doesn't exist.
Technically true.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just, it's that sentence has implications that don't really bear fruit.
I was trying to throw you off the trail because I was aware.
He slept through his alarm and missed the whole episode.
I knew he wasn't in this one at all, and it was just about Shang Tsung and the orb.
Yeah, of course.
But we've been calling this the Warrior King crossover. It's called the Warrior King crossover on the internet when people talk about it. This is the orb crossover, really. I didn't want to tip my hand.
It really is more orb-centric.
Yeah, but they were consistent about the powers. You know how, like, from the Street Fighter episode to the Savage Dragon episode, they just changed what the orb does completely?
Yeah, climate changes things now.
Yeah, it's back to its original purpose of being a device for saving or destroying the environment, as opposed to just making a fire dude big and angry.
Hello?
I'm here. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. I said the last thing, then you didn't say anything.
Yeah, I mean sometimes you just carry on when that happens sometimes.
Yeah, but I was done with what I was saying. Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm episode 9 Resurrection. Part 3 of the Warrior King's Orb crossover. Corey, do you want to take us over to the Corey corner?
Oh, yeah, that's my responsibility, huh?
Yeah.
It would help if I had my notes in front of me, so you don't have to come over to the Corey corner yet, or you can at least take your time.
I'll saunter over.
Sure.
Welcome to the Corey corner.
Okay, so I don't know why I wrote this, but we're just gonna roll with it. And if it's funny, laugh, and if I'm wrong, everyone just ignore it. We're in Shao Kahn's lair, which looks like a Crash Team Racing stage, and we're in space also for some reason. And there are 2 shadow priests with an ancient formula, and they have a skeleton man on the ground.
Yeah.
And they are going to do something about that. And I would just like to note that it looks like the cheapest this show has ever looked to date for parts of this sequence. It looks real bad. But
really? Which parts?
My note just says, why is this somehow the cheapest looking episode to date? And then we get resurrected Shang Tsung Prometheus looking man.
Okay, that looks good though, right?
But before that was pretty shit.
Just want to make sure you weren't talking about that part, because I was like, wow, the show actually looks good for once.
So Shao Kahn already has the orb. We don't know how long he's had it. He seems to know what it does and understands that inherent evil activates more power. And he's like, who do I know that's inherently evil that's not me? Who do I want to also make do work for me? Oh, I know. So he resurrects Shang Tsung, instantly punches that motherfucker straight in the face.
Yeah, he does.
And Shang Tsung's like, wow, man, you brought me back just for this. I was like in hell. Demons, 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 demons. And Shao Kahn's like, I will send you back to hell if you don't do this stuff for me. So the gambit here is that the orb makes Raiden lose his powers because reasons. And if hyper-powered Shang Tsung plus orb can trap the combat crew and lure out Raiden, they will be able to kill all the defenders of the realm and Raiden, who won't have powers anymore, and then everybody wins.
Yeah.
So they send Shang Tsung to Earthrealm with a bit of a distraction force, and the combat team reacts as usual. Everybody jumps out of the dragon jets yelling their signature catchphrases, literally everybody. And so while that's happening, Raiden's looking down bad, and Jax is like, "Hey man, are you okay? I know we don't usually get along, but I'm worried about your health and safety." And Raiden confides in Jax like, "Yeah, my shit's all fucked up, but don't tell anybody, please." Jax is like, "Okay, sure." He fakes sick so we can stay home from school and help Raiden. Yes. And so they follow the team later after sort of having a plane ride where they just sort of get deep and personal. Raiden talks about what draws him to the Earth realm.
Big theory boys.
Yeah, he says some stuff in there that I'm just going to let Neil address because it's kind of weird. And Jax says that being mortal doesn't mean you have to be a wimp. Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, climate changes everyone into a chasm, and then Raiden shows up and kicks his ass, and he sends the orb into space.
Basically, he fucking pitches it like a...
He pitches it like a fucking
like a baseball player.
And he throws
Barry
it through
Bonds.
And he throws it... and he throws it like with the same level of ferocity that Randy Johnson fatality'd that bird with.
He's feeling good getting his powers back and shit.
Dude's feeling limber.
He's like,
he's not feeling a day over 500.
Thank God I'm not immortal after all.
Oh, dude, it's just like that. Actually, never mind. That joke's not funny enough to tell.
All right, we'll chop it out.
Sometimes you just got to be honest with yourselves.
Sometimes you gotta. That's why I burned my Shang Tsung's back, and he's a member of Kiss joke in
in the chat. I don't know if people know this. If you want a quick peek behind the curtain, let's figure this out. Sometimes we say stuff, and if you can believe it, it's not always funny. And you guys just don't hear those parts.
Oh man, we cut that shit right out. I'd say on average between 60 and 70 minutes hits the editing room floor every time we record.
Yeah, we do 2 podcasts as sitting, and one of them never gets released every time.
Basically, we do a dry run, we do a dress rehearsal, and then we make cuts, and then we do the real version, and then we edit after that too. It takes about 3 weeks for me to get an episode together. So we should really streamline the process.
We record these in like 4 to 5 discrete sessions. Yeah. Each one gets about, 2 minutes or so of the show, and we just go deep.
We go so fucking deep. It's really just a waste of our time and everybody else's.
But, we get a good 90 minutes out of that, 300 minutes of dedication or whatever.
Yeah, we have to. That's the code of the Street Fighter.
That's the contract we signed.
Justice, commitment, discipline.
How do you remember that already? What are you talking about?
It's the code of the Street Fighter, man.
Quick, what's the Savage Dragon code?
Chili dogs,
Fucking
hot meter maids, Chicago.
Hey, what's Chicago voice? I know we already did this failed bit where nobody knew Chicago voice.
The Bears, right? That's the thing.
The Bears. That's yeah. Everybody in Chicago who's listening is loving this, right? Just loving it.
Blues Brothers, Orbs.
I think the Blues Brothers 2000 would have been a better movie if it had an orb in it.
Sport Peppers. That's a big hot dog
What'd
thing
you just
there.
say?
Sport Peppers.
What is that? Do we have
You ever
time to
have a
get into that?
Why do we not talk about Chicago dogs on the... I guess we could talk about it. They even ate fucking hot dogs in the
If
Savage
anybody's
Dragon
wondering why
cartoon.
these take 300 hours to fucking record or whatever that thing I said earlier was, this
God,
is why.
It's a hot... It's a really fucking good hot dog.
Called sport peppers?
Yeah, they're a hot pepper. They're kind of mild for a hot pepper. You put 2 of those on a hot dog.
Oh, that
with,
doesn't look at first visual glance. I don't love it. It must be said.
Of a sport pepper.
Yeah, that's pretty upsetting actually. Chicago dog, please. I don't know. I don't know, Chicago. Can we talk about your fucking pizza too while we're here? What are you doing?
No. First of all, deep dish is for tourists. It's not real Chicago pizza.
What is real Chicago pizza then? Because they fucked up the SEO on that. Everybody thinks it's deep dish.
Like regular pizza. All right, so Chicago
What the
dog.
fuck are they doing? They fucked up their brand.
You got to have a poppy seed bun, right?
Yeah.
You
Heard
got
of
yellow mustard, plain yellow mustard,
Heard of it?
chopped onions,
Okay.
tomatoes, green relish,
Okay.
sweet green relish, not dill relish, green relish, pickled sport peppers, dill pickle spear, and celery salt. It's a really fucking good hot dog, dude. You get the hot, you get the sweet, you get the dill from the pickle. Everything just, man.
Here's the thing.
Chicago dogs are good.
I'm a picky eater, and I'm willing to admit because growing up I was a big baby about it. I'm willing to admit that's why. And I'm working on it because I'm an adult and I'm eating all sorts of new things all the time. But it must be said, there's some shit in there that you just said that I simply do not want to eat.
Oh, what? You afraid of tomatoes? Jesus.
Well, no, actually, I've recently stopped requesting that restaurants take the tomatoes out of shit with tomatoes in it. Not because I think tomatoes are good, but because I got over myself.
Happy birthday. You're an adult now.
Happy birthday. You ate a tomato once. What happens is you turn 24, and then to keep your bones from turning straight to dust because you're old now, you have to take a bite out of a raw tomato, just whole.
Actually, tomatoes, this is true. Tomatoes help keep your prostate healthy. Little medical advice for everybody out there with a prostate.
Savage Dragon.
All right. Should we leave the prostate thing in or take that out? I think
Prostate
we're gonna
corner?
leave it in. That's helpful information for people. Corey, let's go over to the Neil Nook now that we've tackled hot dogs.
Do I have to scream or yell or do some shit like that, or are we just gonna go over there casually?
No, let's just take a walk over. I like this kind of casual. Let's enjoy this episode of Defenders of the Realm.
Let's relish in this.
This episode was written by everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, Sean Catherine Derrick.
Fucking
And,
honestly.
We've got 3 actors here. We've got John Vernon back as Shao Kahn. We talked about him in the Familiar Red episode with Kano, but I found some more credits for this guy that we have to talk about. This guy was in Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Okay.
He was the dean in National Lampoon's Animal House.
Okay.
And he did a voice in the video game Command and Conquer Yuri's Revenge with Adani Meropis.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Adani Meropis, everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, for real.
Everybody's
we've got
favorite
Neil,
Quan Chi for sure.
Absolutely. We've got Neil Ross as Shang Tsung, Neil. He spells it incorrectly. We talked about him before, too, because he also voices Motaro. He also did a voice in Command and Conquer Yuri's Revenge.
Star-studded.
With Adani Meropis and John Vernon. And he was Dr. Reinfeld in the Savage Dragon cartoon. I don't think he was in the episode we watched, but he is credited with 26 episodes of that show, which is all of them. So maybe we missed him.
Yeah, maybe he was getting a dog. Is that the running joke of this episode now? Just hot dogs?
Yeah, it should have been on the last episode, but it's going on this one.
We're gonna do all of our jokes structured as one episode behind from now on.
Yes, because that's when we get our good ideas. We've got Peter Renaday as the Shadow Priest. This guy voiced Splinter on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon from the 80s and 90s.
Nice.
Yeah, and this is kind of fun, I guess. Are you familiar with Defenders of the Earth?
I've only ever seen the realm be defended, to be completely honest.
Do you know Flash Gordon?
Yeah.
Do you know The Phantom?
Maybe. Did that get a movie with fucking Titanic guy?
Billy Zane?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Mandrake the Magician?
Mandrake the Magician?
Yeah, you can just say no.
I'm gonna see if I do. Am I familiar with this?
Well, I'm gonna fill
Absolutely
you in.
not. This dude looks like boring. Fuck. Oh shit. Where's the joke? What's his name?
Zatara.
No. Yes, but no. Shit. I don't know. Never mind. I don't know. I'll have to think of it. What's the man's name? Shit. Oh fuck. They did a movie. Shit.
Doctor Strange? I don't know, dude.
No. Because he's just like a fucking 40s cop. What's detective? But colorful. Did that help at all?
Not even a little bit. A 40s cop, but colorful.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Hang on. I know who was in the movie. I'll figure this out. Nobody touch that dial. Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy, there you go.
Do you know what I Googled to find Dick Tracy? Do you want to know?
Madonna?
Yeah, I Googled the Madonna movie.
Well, Jesus Christ.
I couldn't remember fucking Warren Beatty's name, so I went with Madonna movie.
So.
Oh, holy shit. Anyway, yeah, I totally know Mandrake the Magician. Totally.
All right. Well, these are all characters owned by King Features, who printed them as like newspaper comic strips, and then they made a cartoon series with all of these characters teaming up, and that team is called the Defenders of the Earth. Different from the Defenders of the Realm, but similar enough that I felt like we had to take time to talk about it.
I'm so glad this came up.
Yeah, we got some good out of it, thankfully. And he also did voices. Peter Renaday also did, so he voiced Mandrake the Magician on the Defenders of the Earth cartoon, and now he's a Shadow Priest in Defenders of the Realm. There's something there. And he also did voices on the Savage Dragon cartoon with Neil Ross. So we got a whole bunch of connections here. Like, the honest truth is, everyone on the show is voice actors. Everyone on this show has worked with each other on a million other projects, especially in the 90s. Like,
yeah, it's a pretty tightly knit group.
It really is. We had so many Mortal Kombat connections in that Savage Dragon episode. It was kind of nuts.
God, I can't believe how stupid I feel after that whole Dick Tracy bit. That was a good bit. Fuck.
All right, so that's it. We're out of the Neil Nook. Let's get into some of the details of this episode. I really dug the beginning of this with the Shadow Priest walking through the cave and then finding the box and then taking the bones out of the box and dropping them at Shao Kahn's feet. It gave me like flashbacks of Conquest, the Master, where the Master's been imprisoned in that like rock tomb and they went in with their cloaks to free him. It was giving me like vibes from that.
Except that's cooler.
That was cool. Yeah, that was definitely cooler.
Can you maybe tell me why I thought this space layer that they're in, which very clearly looks like it's in space, why it made my brain think of Crash Team Racing? Is my brain just wired wrong? Is there even a connection there?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know why I thought of that. Somebody listening, if you agree with my assessment that it's got the feeling, I don't know, email us or something, vouch for me so I feel less crazy.
I'm sure it's there. I'm looking at screenshots of Crash Team Racing right now.
Oh, trust me, I've been looking, and I don't know why I thought of this.
Oh, you know what? This one here, there's like
I keep getting screenshots from the remake, which isn't helping my case, because I clearly meant the PS1 game.
Yeah, but Crash Bandicoot has like that sort of like Aztec-y, viney, like aesthetic to it.
But also space.
So I think some of the later set pieces we see once the orb is doing his orb thing.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you right now though. I made that note when they were in Shao Kahn's space place, and that's the only time I thought that.
I don't think it's in space. I think it's just really tall.
Well, it sure looks like space, and I think it's funnier if it's in space.
You think if they were like, we better start this in space and end it in space in case this airs after the Wing Commander episode?
Yeah, that might have been why.
They were clearly putting a lot of thought into this whole crossover. Anyway, yeah, they dump some shit on Shang Tsung's bones, and he grows back into Shang Tsung. And that animation where like his muscles are reforming and stuff actually looks pretty fucking sick.
He becomes the man from Prometheus.
Yeah, he becomes an engineer. They're called engineers.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that.
They call them engineers in the movie.
Nobody knows that. Nobody has seen those movies while thinking about them hard.
I have.
Sorry to Ridley Scott.
The Dark Horse Prometheus comic books call them engineers all the time.
There's comic books ongoing? What do you
Not
mean
anymore.
all the time?
Disney owns Fox now, so Marvel publishes Alien books, and I don't think they're doing anything with Prometheus. But yeah, they're the engineers. All right, we used to call them the space jockey when we didn't know what it was. Now it's the engineer.
I'm just gonna
stay tuned for my Alien podcast.
God, as if you needed. How this show's gonna have so many spin-offs at this rate.
Yeah, I gotta watch all of Savage Dragon. I gotta watch all of Street Fighter. I'm gonna have to learn what Wing Commander is so I can podcast about that.
Did Alien get a cartoon? Probably, right? They were just kind of doing that shit.
They planned one. It never got made, but the toys got released.
We're gonna cash in on a cartoon that doesn't exist.
Well, they ended up just cashing in on the popularity of the movie with the toy series. My brother owned a bunch of them. They were pretty tight, actually. We just had, I feel like we talked about this on the episode with Damien. We just had like the aliens. We didn't have any of like the space marines, so we just made the G.I. Joes fight the aliens. That might have gotten cut out of that episode, but here it is again.
We're already looping. This is all we have.
Probably gonna get cut out of this one too.
Yeah, this shit's cool. And then Shang Tsung gets bullied for dying too much, which is once.
Yeah. Well, I mean, death is
impermanent, evidently.
Death is temporary in the Mortal Kombat universe. I mean, we all know that this is a direct sequel to Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Somehow Shiva's come back to life, Rain came back to life, Shao Kahn's come back to life, Kano's come back to life. It's just a revolving fucking door.
I mean, they make it look pretty easy. You just need an ancient formula.
Shadow Priest juice, courtesy of Silk Manning.
I think that it's a zero sugar energy Coke cherry flavor.
Did I tell you I found one? I found like
I found one in a
store,
dumpster behind a Target.
and I drank it and I felt better for the rest of the day. And now it's gone. I can't find them anywhere.
We got a lot of them up here, but they're not zero sugar cherry. But
yeah, that's fucked up.
I think it's funny to ask this question on air, so I will.
Canada, get your shit together. What's
How
up?
Would you drink them if I bought a bunch and then mailed them to your house?
Yeah, I would.
Would they maintain integrity on the journey?
I think if you pack them right, they would.
Because, like, I don't know how carbonated drinks respond to, like, pressure changes and shit. Probably not great.
I think you'd probably have to ship them in, like, a styrofoam container that could kind of help keep them insulated.
Like
so
something
not, like,
they ship
hot.
organs in?
Yeah, you know what? Go get some dry ice. Get a styrofoam cooler.
I think... now, here's my follow-up question before we go back to doing our job.
I think I could... first of all, don't do it. I'm sure I could probably order them locally for a lot less money for both of us and a lot less hassle. I appreciate the offer.
Do you think the show would improve if you were able to drink those again? How important were those to your day-to-day life?
They weren't that important. Honestly, I think this is the best MK Podquest yet.
It's because of all the hot dog talk, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm passionate about, honestly, that it doesn't come up enough is Chicago dogs.
Is that real? Is that true?
I love them, dude. I don't eat them enough.
Are you going to have... Dude, have one on your birthday.
Yeah,
birthday
fuck yeah,
Chicago dogs for the boys.
There's a place nearby called Bruce's. I'm going to go to Bruce's on my birthday.
There you go. Hang out with our boys. Bruce and the
Hell
boys. Yeah. Anyway, now that that's over, Shang Tsung's out for revenge with this big fanciful orb.
Yeah, he got the orb somehow. He just has it, right?
Shao Kahn is like, this orb is the most powerful thing in the world. I'm gonna resurrect a person that I hate and give it to him for free.
Yeah, but he's got good reason to, right? Like,
yeah, because he's so evil.
So here's an important thing that we had to touch on. The episode didn't touch on this, but this is information we learned from Mortal Kombat Conquest and from Mortal Kombat Annihilation, right? Shao Kahn can't really step into Earthrealm. He's always got to, like, remember his plan in Conquest was he had to pull part of Earthrealm into Outworld to get access?
Yeah.
So he can't go. So he needs someone evil to go in his place to fuck around with the orb on Earthrealm. Shang Tsung's the perfect person to do that because
That dude's evil as shit.
evil as shit, and being evil like heightens the powers of the orb apparently. Like
Allegedly.
and Shang Tsung can travel into Earthrealm. We know that he did it all the time in Conquest and Mortal Kombat and everything because he's from Earthrealm originally. So it's a good plan, and it all adds up.
Well, it's a good plan until Shao Kahn leaves his chamber and Shang Tsung instantly yells well within earshot, "Boy, I can't wait to use this to kill Raiden and then Shao Kahn."
Classic Shang Tsung, though.
Yeah, that's him.
Classic Shao Kahn plan. Classic Shang Tsung
Rebuttal.
They don't ever like examine all the angles, so you know something's going to get fucked up in this, right?
I
And
think if they had a single brainstorming meeting, they would win.
probably if they like could like actually work together instead of just hating each other all the time and wanting each other's powers.
Yeah, but hatred's pretty cool.
Sure is. But Shao Kahn knows a lot about this orb. He knows it can control the elements, right? He knows that it can be magnified by evil. What did we see in Street Fighter? We saw the orb controlling elements. What did we see in Savage Dragon? We saw the orb get more powerful when the Fiend was using it and also getting more powerful. He was able to suck in souls from other realms and other universes, right? Shao Kahn spent his Saturday mornings watching the USA Action Extreme Team block. He saw the Street Fighter episode and the Savage Dragon episode, so when he found the orb, he knew exactly how it worked.
Right, yeah, totally. That's why.
Yeah. It's the only thing that makes sense, because like how else would he get that information?
I can't think of a good way.
Okay.
Because here's the...
All right.
No, hang on. I wasn't done. Fucking hold on.
Give me something here.
Whoa! I was about. What do you want me to do? I mean, I've never watched the Action Extreme Real Cream block. I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about that. All I was gonna say was clearly it's so intuitive that all you need to see is one person use it once in an unrelated context, and you just figure it out.
Yeah, no, he watched Bison use it. He watched Sagat use it. He watched The Fiend use it. He watched these cartoon episodes, and now he's like, I know what to do. Someone get me that orb.
Hashtag orb.
He tweeted it, all caps. Someone get me that orb. Whatever. Ugh.
What?
Anyway.
What?
I gave up on my own fucking rambling nonsense. That wasn't about you.
This is a deeply chaotic recording.
I think we're just excited that we've got like a good.
But we're not talking about it at all. We're making this take the rest of our lives. We're still at the opening scene.
We're theorizing all over the place. All right, let's just knock this fucker out.
It's
all right.
been 50 minutes.
Yeah, but like there was like 4 minutes of that was you emailing somebody. So
fair enough. Sorry.
All right, so we cut from here to the combat cave, and all the boat plane dragon ships are in the grotto, and everyone's working on fixing up the jets, right? And Raiden's just sort of sitting on the edge, just like chilling.
He's the
watching all
lifeguard
the
because you
mortals.
apparently have to swim under the jet to work on it. You can't just, I don't know, take it out of the fucking water. Like
big Baywatch fan. Raiden is.
Yeah.
Dude, no,
What?
I'm not doing it. We're not getting sidetracked again.
No, I think we should.
I watched Piranha 3 Double D.
Why did you do that? Why are you doing these things?
I've been in a Jaw. I watched all the Jawses again. I'm just like in the mood for something
Because I'm
shitty.
deep into sharks right now.
And David Hasselhoff is in that movie as himself, opening this water park as like a promotional gig, and they make fun of the Baywatch thing. I don't know. That's all.
How
It's
many
not
times
worth-
has David Hasselhoff fucking done that? Because he just...
At least 2. The SpongeBob
Yeah,
movie, and then
that's what came to
Piranha
mind.
Double D.
Where's that crossover?
And he references SpongeBob in Piranha Double D by telling some kid he was in the SpongeBob movie.
By talking about SpongeBob, never mind.
He's really eating his own. Oh, and then he did it again in the Baywatch movie with The Rock. That was really dumb and bad.
I didn't see that.
You don't need. You're better off watching Piranha Double D.
I mean, God willing, my other podcast will never fucking force me to see that. Jesus Christ.
When you do, can I be on the episode?
Yeah, sure.
Hell yeah.
We're going to do Zac Efron month, so we're going to do that and like High School Musical 3 and...
Oh, I was talking about Piranha Double D because that's a sequel.
Oh, I meant the Baywatch remake. 'Cause
Either-
it's a reboot.
Yeah, I don't want to be on for that one.
I thought
It will
that's
not be a
I thought
fun
you just got
episode.
stoked to talk about Baywatch, and I thought that was fucking hilarious.
No, because I hate that movie.
Yeah, that's never stopped us before.
I'll just be angry the whole time. It won't be a fun experience.
Fuck, sorry. Hang on, I knocked my mic. Keep talking. Keep the podcast going. I had to fix something.
What the fuck is wrong with us today? All right.
So I have a custom keycap on my keyboard that my sister got me. That is a Gundam head. And I knocked my mic onto my keyboard and it popped off, and I needed to put it back on. And it's clear,
Jesus
so
Christ.
all the light shines through. It's cool. It was a good gift.
That is a good gift. Your life is ridiculous, though.
Why? That's what makes it ridiculous.
Because you bumped your mic during a podcast recording and your Gundam keycap flew off and you had to find it and put it back on.
While
What
we're
do you mean,
allegedly
why?
talking about a cartoon for babies about Mortal Kombat 75% of the way through a crossover involving a warrior king that's never been in anything else ever again.
It's mostly been about hot dogs, though. So, all right. Yeah, Raiden's giving him sass. Raiden's giving Jax sass about Jax is asking him to help out, and Raiden's like, no, you do it. And then, like, something weird happens to Raiden, whatever. Something weird happens to Raiden while everyone's hanging out fixing the jets. And, like, lightning just starts shooting out of his back and he falls over like he's weak. And he's blowing it off like it's nothing, but, like, Jax is, like, legit concerned. I feel like Jax learned a lesson from the Quan Chi episode to not be a total asshole to his friends.
It's a valuable lesson.
And he's, like, actually, like, even though he and Raiden have, like, this rivalry where they call each other girlfriend and sass each other and stuff, he's like, no, I'm serious, man. What's going on? Are you okay? And Raiden's all like, yeah, I'm a fucking thunder god. Leave me alone, dork. And then they all get called into the control room by Nightwolf. There is not a combat alert because there was not a rift, but there have been these weird, like, environmental catastrophes happening. Earthquakes where there shouldn't be, floods in the desert, tornadoes and hurricanes and all kinds of shit.
So they're dealing with our current life.
They're like, our climate has accelerated to the climate of 2020.
And it's worth noting, Nightwolf notes very precisely that this is not a runaway greenhouse effect.
Yeah.
Also, really quick, when Raiden says he's not feeling well and he tries to play it off, lightning shoots fucking everywhere. Just everywhere.
Yeah.
And he, like, completely collapses to the ground and then just tries to say that he's fine.
Gotta say, some of Clancy Brown's finest acting, though.
On this show, at least.
Oh, fuck. So what happens? Then, like, while they're looking at this, an actual combat alert does come through. There has been a rift, and we got cybers pouring into a jungle or some shit, right? And this is where Jax fakes sick to get out of the call, which is just brilliant. And totally something a child watching this cartoon could relate to. He's just like, I'm not feeling right, guys. Just go on without me. Leave a dragon jet, though, and I'll join you later if I'm feeling better, right?
And apparently they're really receptive about, like, sick days and stuff here because they're just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Get better.
They take Nightwolf off the bench, and Raiden says he'll hold down the fort. So, like, everyone goes off. Nightwolf gets to go into combat, which surely is the reason why that fight with the Cybers only lasted about 45 seconds, because they had Nightwolf helping him out for once. Meanwhile, Jax is, like really digging into it with Raiden. He's like, come on, man. Seriously, like, what's going on? I care. And Raiden tells him, like, yeah, I think my powers are getting weak. He's still being kind of a dick about it. I'm losing my powers. Are you happy? Jesus, get off my back, Jax. And anyway, so now we're at the battle with the Cybers, right?
Oh yeah, I guess the trick of this episode being good is not a lot actually happens.
Really, nothing happens in this episode, right? I don't know. The gang fights the Cybers. We got Nightwolf and Kiva, and they fuse, and that's cool.
Nightwolf finally gets to do shit again. It's fucking awesome.
Stryker says Strike Force at one point. Do you think he's trying to, like, name their group the Strike Force?
No, I think he saw everyone else have a catchphrase.
Sure. Combat time.
When everybody jumps out, everybody says a catchphrase, either right away or mid-fight. Everybody says a catchphrase. I think Strike Force is his catchphrase. He was like, oh shit, all of my friends have catchphrases. Like, you hear them all overlap, like, Katana says, like, with honor, and then it's like, combat time, blah, 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 whatever Liu Kang says.
Liu Kang says, I'm Liu Kang.
I'm Liu Kang.
Nightwolf says Kiva, and then Kiva howls. Those are their catchphrases.
I'm Liu Kang.
It's actually Luke Ang. You guys have been saying it wrong.
And he's
That's
named
his battle
after
cry.
the Avatar.
Lucas Ang.
Jeff Ang.
Anyway.
Sport
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Peppers.
fucking Stryker.
Anyway.
Stryker's trying to get Strike Force going, and everyone's like, we're not the Strike Force. You're not in charge, Dick.
If anything, we're like the Lightning Lads And Raiden's in charge.
They fuck these cybers up right away, and they close the rift.
Yeah,
and everything's
cybers
all hunky dory.
are baby bullshit. They're nothing to to the lightning lads.
They can't stand up to the strike force, not for a second. And then Shang Tsung shows up, boom, with the orb, and he's orbing all over the place, right?
Yeah, and they're like, "I thought you were dead," and he's like, "I was."
I'm back now, motherfuckers. I got eye paint on. I am not Bruce Locke, but I got some Bruce Locke energy. Because he does. He's got some Bruce Locke energy in this one.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool if...
Do you think they showed this episode to Bruce Locke?
No, I
and they're
don't.
Like, do this, but better.
I don't think they did. I gotta be honest, I don't think anyone else except for us has even seen this before.
People who made the show didn't even like...
Oh, they
watch
didn't?
it
No.
back to me.
Yeah. They just...
They put it in the can. They're like, this is done.
Yeah.
It's done. We're not revisiting
They
this.
put it in the can. They went to where all the little animated people live, and they just recorded what happened, and they put the film in the can, and they left.
Yeah, it's inside the reboot universe. That's why Sean Catherine Derrick's the writer.
Rebootiverse.
Anyway, so Shang, like, he's good with this orb, dude. He's doing a better job fucking shit up with this orb than Sagat and Bison
He's
were.
the most orb adept.
He's proficient in orb.
He put that on his resume, and that's why Shao Kahn hired him. Shao Kahn's like, if I ever find an orb that does anything, I want a guy who's orb-ficient.
And then when he died, he's like, fuck, we got to bring him back to life. He's the only one on our team who knows how to program an orb.
And then another thing that they realized while making this show for cheap is that they can get a lot of fucking mileage out of that lightning sound effect if everything shoots lightning.
Yeah, they can.
Orb shoots lightning, Raiden shoots lightning. Some shit just makes lightning sound for no reason.
There's just a lot of lightning in this one. I'm going to underscore the entire podcast with my lightning and thunder sound effects. Yeah, but dude, like, rips the earth open, like, creates a fissure that all of the combat gang saved it fall into, and they all, like, barely, like, are able to, like, find purchase before they tumble into lava.
Yeah.
So he almost just killed all of them. Like, that was maybe not the best part of the plan. You know, he should have, like, maybe he built those ridges in so that they had something to land on purpose, right? Because they all, like, land on, like, tiered ridges inside the thing, but they can't get out, right? And he's like, I'm going to close this fucking fissure if you guys don't call Raiden and tell him to get his butt down here.
Yeah, so the threat is, I'm going to crush you within the mantle of the earth if you don't go call your boss.
It's like that would be like a stage fatality, right?
Yeah, and then what we get is... Raiden and Jax just sort of vibing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, I guess we should get over there.
One nice detail in this when they radio Raiden and Jax.
Is it the screen transition?
No, that wasn't what I was going to say. What was the screen transition?
They just did, I think it's the Mortal Kombat logo or something, the dragon thing. I don't know.
Oh, that's sick. No, just that while they're like trapped like above this lava pit, Nightwolf points out, like, look, Sub-Zero's having a hard time with this. So, like, Sub-Zero does not do well in hot climates. And that's kind of like called back to the Kano episode when they're running all over the place and they get to, like, Tibet or someplace where it's freezing and everybody's cold except Sub-Zero.
Yeah, and to be fair,
got the reverse of that.
It is in the name. They're all trapped in, like, this is actually related to the fact that for some reason the computer room in the combat cave just has a fucking lava pit in it for no reason.
It does? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it does. The room where Nightwolf is just in the computer room, or at least wherever this computer is, maybe it's not his computer room. It definitely had some kind of lava-adjacent situation at a minimum, if not a full-on pit. There was, like, smoke coming out of it and everything.
Tight. Maybe that's how they power the computer. The computer runs on lava.
Anyway, so you'd think Nightwolf would maybe be handling this a little bit better, considering.
But I just like that detail. And then, like, when they're trying to climb out of the pit later, like, Sub-Zero is, like, out and Nightwolf has to carry him. I just thought that was some good attention to detail about Sub-Zero's character that the show doesn't usually do.
Sub-Zero
like
famously cold. That's his character trait. His most recognizable trait is being cold as fuck.
I mean, that certainly is his character. His most, the thing you said.
Luke Perry was cast because his voice was cold.
All right, so now Jax and Raiden, they're gonna fly out, and
they're also gonna bro out.
They're going to fly out and bro out in the Dragon Jet. And Jax asks Raiden, like, hey, why did you stick around Earthrealm when you're a god and you could have chosen any realm?
It is worth acknowledging. First, he goes, hey, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure, yeah.
And Raiden's like, yeah, but don't fucking tell anybody. And even if you did, no one would ever believe that we had a normal conversation, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's like, everyone knows we hate each other, so no one's going to believe you. And he asks him why do you stick around Earthrealm when you're a god and you could go to any other realm. Now, I have time for big theory, boys.
Yeah, let's just get
Okay?
this out of the way, yeah. Because this is a very weird thing that he said. Big theory, boys. Big theory, boys.
Well, there's two readings on this. The question could be...
Well, it's just like the Bible. It's so easy to interpret in so many ways.
Yeah.
You know what would get more kids into Catholicism these days? Do you know?
If it was more like Mortal Kombat.
Put an orb in it. Is that? Hey, listeners! How's that for a fucking joke, huh?
We're going to get our very first 6 to 8 discrete air horns into gunshot.
I don't know why I was being so aggressive about it, but I really wanted to underscore how not funny that was. I think they should put an orb in Jesus' Bible. Anyway, thank you, please.
Corey, you're losing your marbles over there, which are all actually tiny orbs.
What's that game?
Orb Madness?
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Were you thinking of Marble Madness?
No joke worked. It doesn't matter what I was actually thinking of, does it?
You were thinking of Crash Team Racing again.
What am I not?
All right, so there's two readings. So this could be like, hey, as we all saw in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, you were an elder god. Why did you choose to come back here, right? I think that's the proper reading with the added context of Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Which we obviously have because that's our job.
And proves that this is in continuity with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, that he gave up his elder god status because he wanted to have a more direct impact on the day-to-day of protecting realms from Outworld. And as an elder god, he can't do that. You have to let him do this shit and then step in. And he's like, nah, fuck that. Look at all these people who died. And the Golden Gate Bridge was like half in Outworld and half up the Eiffel Tower. And like, that's not right. So that's the one way of reading it. And the other way of reading it is even before all of that happened, why did you choose Earthrealm? And we all know from the Mortal Kombat Annihilation novelization that he didn't choose Earthrealm. He was banished to Earthrealm by Shinnok.
AKA his dad?
Yeah, his dad and his brother, Shao Kahn. He was banished there for not being strong enough. So those are the two ways to read the question. In any case, he's talking about how he's become personally connected to the essence of this unique emerald planet. Right? Keyword there, the essence. Like in the Essence of Edenia episode of Mortal Kombat
Keyword there is
which,
orb, just like the orb episode of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
And he gets his power from like the essence of the earth. And he's adopted lightning as his shtick. He's not the lightning god, he's the lightning god by choice, right?
Yeah, he could have been anything.
Could have been anything. Could have been sand god of sand, like the mummy.
Everybody's favorite Spider-Man character.
I went for a mummy reference. You went for a Spider-Man reference. I think we got all our bases covered here in terms of famous movie sand.
And next, I'll do George of the Jungle, and you can do a different Tobey Maguire movie.
I'll do Jungle 2 Jungle starring Tim Allen.
You know who loves Stryker?
Tim Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Oh.
Look, man, we're trying.
And then Raiden gives like an emotional speech about how Earthrealm is so diverse and wonderful and strong, but also fragile, and that over 100 species perish from the planet every day. He gives like a nice, deep speech about environmental. This is the environmentalist
This episode is very directly about like climate change and taking action now.
Yeah.
In 1993 or whatever.
So there was this mandate in animated children's cartoons, I think through the 80s and 90s. I don't know the exact dates. That anything for young audiences had to have some kind of a moral message or like educational content in it.
Well, based on who was making the call on whether there was enough of a moral message or not.
I don't know. I don't know if it was like an FCC requirement or something for your animated series to be like aired. Like it was some kind of a requirement similar to like the comics code and all that kind of shit. Where they're like, no, we don't want to corrupt our children, so you have to have something teachable. And I think like that's where we got that moment in the Black Dragon episode, the Kano episode, where they're like, dragons were not a part of Egyptian hieroglyphics and their culture, and like that was like the lesson you had to learn from that one. They're like, look,
so it could be real fucking barrel scratching.
Yeah, it just
bottom of the
something
runs.
To argue. Like, no, we're teaching people things, and like this episode, we're teaching kids about the environment and to be responsible, and that like there are species on this planet going extinct every single day. Yeah, I think that's what this was all about, right? But yeah, we get some insight into Raiden in that, and how much he really does care about Earthrealm, even if he hates mortals and their mortal butts, or whatever he says. So then Raiden flips it on Jax and calls him girlfriend this time, instead of Jax calling Raiden girlfriend. And he's like, why did you give up a relatively normal life for one full of war and fighting nomads and cybers and Outworld, right? And Jax is kind of like, well, I also care about this planet, and like I want to protect it, so I keep fighting. Just because you're immortal doesn't mean you're a wimp, right?
Yeah. Incredible motivating power, Jax. Thank you.
And Raiden's like, please, even if I was immortal, I'd be 10 times stronger than the rest of you because I've got thousands and thousands of years of experience.
And then Raiden casually ignoring the fact that if he were mortal, he'd be extremely dead.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do you think that would happen? Like if he just turned, I guess the way that they're saying is if he doesn't have his god powers, like when he goes out into Outworld, he's just like a mortal. He's not actually mortal. Would he still live forever? Because he like wouldn't just immediately like monk crumble into a skeleton, right?
He might. We don't know.
That's true.
We have no way of knowing.
Well, we've seen him lose his powers before. No, he became immortal in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and he didn't crumble into dust.
Maybe, but maybe that was a contrivance because the movie needed him to not be dust.
Yeah, that's probably all it was.
Whoa.
You all right?
Yeah.
Did your keycap fall off again?
Fuck you. I don't know why that happened, to be completely honest with you.
You all right?
Yeah, it was my phone.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
And then Raiden's like, I'm not really worried about fighting Shang Tsung. I can kick Shang Tsung's ass. He's like, but I am kind of worried about this orb, though.
A little concerned about the orb sapping all of my lightning power away.
So they get to the location of the fissure, and the jet immediately gets shot down by a lightning storm from the orb. And then Shang Tsung's just like ready to fucking fight Raiden, right? But like Raiden like hid or something, or he's like got out of the jet and he's like hiding and throwing his voice so Shang Tsung doesn't know where to look. And he's just shooting lightning willy-nilly everywhere. Shang Tsung is shoot.
Quan Chi is what you're trying
Jesus
to say. It's
Christ.
Quan Chi.
It's like being back in Conquest where I'm confusing Shao Kahn
Zero
and Shang
was
Tsung
there.
all the time. Yeah, and then Shang Tsung is like, that's it, I've had enough of this. Raiden, I challenge you to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's a formal challenge. And then I was like, I had a genuine question, which was, does a formal challenge to Mortal Kombat permit the use of extracurricular orbs?
Yeah, that's a good question. The weapons rules.
It doesn't really factor in, but I didn't think he was allowed to just kind of do that.
Sure, I don't know if you can in a tournament setting. Unless does Scorpion's kunai count as a bonus weapon?
It's built into his body.
Yeah, I mean, Stryker fights with guns and his billy
Yeah, but
club.
he doesn't have powers. Shang Tsung has
It
powers.
also wasn't a tournament setting. Oh, Katana's got her fans. Melina's got her knives. Weapons are allowed. There's no way Katana's fans are like on the level. She can like lift dudes up in the air with
She's
them.
also a magical wizard.
Sure. Yeah. If magic's, you know what?
Whereas like anybody with the orb feels like they're getting an unfair orb vantage
Correct.
because the orb can do anything.
You're right. Shang Tsung should have been disqualified from this match.
That's all I'm saying.
You're right. But instead he just gets his ass kicked by Raiden. He's like shooting orb blasts all over the place. Raiden like jump kicks him and sends him flying. Like Raiden whoops his ass until Shang Tsung starts tapping into that orb. And then he's shooting lightning and he's making like lava flows and stuff like that.
And Raiden's like, wow, never seen lightning before.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
But while they're fighting, Jax, oh god, that was the big thing that they talked about in the jet, is like Jax was like, when I'm having trouble in a fight, I just think about my team and we all work together and we overcome stuff together. Teamwork is the real secret to winning.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the orb work. Nope. So while all this fighting is going on, he's got a rope and he's lowering a rope down to the rest of the defenders of the realm down in the crevasse, and they're all getting out of there, right? Shang Tsung's distracted. Classic Shang Tsung, getting bamboozled, getting pranked, getting distracted. And then he finally like notices that is happening, right? So he turns around and now he's focusing all his attention on trying to close the fissure and crush everybody before they can climb out. And then he turns his back to Raiden to do that, and Raiden just kicks him in the back real hard, sends the orb flying. Jax catches it, throws it to Raiden. Raiden stops the fissure from closing. Raiden's got the orb.
Raiden frowns when he gets the orb, like he doesn't like having it.
Yeah.
Though you'd think he would be pretty stoked because it lets him presumably get his powers back somehow.
It does.
By channeling some kind of goodness.
Yeah, but he's got something to prove now, right? He's got to prove.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to fucking beat the shit out of your ass anyway,
Yeah.
Shang Tsung.
He says that. He's like, Shang Tsung, I'm not even going to use the orb or my powers. I'm going to beat your ass the mortal way. And he tosses the orb back to Jax. They're just playing catch at this point.
Yeah.
And then he does. We see Shang Tsung like throw a fire skull, which is pretty rad to see. But Raiden just beats him up. Just kicks the shit out of him, opens a portal. Instead of killing him, throws him back into Outworld to the Emperor because he's like, whatever the Emperor does to him is going to be way worse than if I murdered him now.
Which is technically true, but at the same time, Shang Tsung did say if I was dead again, I would just be being tormented by demons in hell for eternity, and that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
We did see the demons earlier, and it had like a weird like Scooby-Doo bit where they all just a bunch of demons just popped up.
Yeah, we did. And that's it. Shang Tsung's been defeated for this episode. We are going to see him again in the finale.
It's so fucked up that this episode is as good as it is compared to the rest, while basically having almost nothing happen plot-wise.
Sure.
And the only character moments go to Raiden and Jax.
Yeah, but they were good character moments comparatively, right?
Yeah.
And I think it just, like, I was thinking about this too, like, Shang Tsung, Mortal Kombat's missing something when Shang Tsung's not around, honestly. Like, how much did we love Conquest because of Shang Tsung being there? Like, yes, we love Bruce Locke, of course, but the character is good. And then
Yeah, he's fun.
Mortal Kombat 95.
He's like a fun evil.
You really miss Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Like, the rest of the villains just can't carry it. Like, yeah, it just feels better. Right.
Who's my soul gonna belong to if Shang Tsung isn't here?
Just feels more like Mortal Kombat when Shang Tsung's banging around. So I appreciated that.
He said it was his.
We got one last big thing that happens in this episode, though, which is that Raiden's got the orb. He's talking about the orb, and they're all talking about how powerful the orb is, and he's like, "Yes, it's too powerful. It's not evil,
Not inherently.
not inherently. If an evil person has it, it's gonna do bad things. If a good person has it, it's gonna do good things. But Mother Nature needs to be left alone to heal.
Nature's perfect already. Leave it alone.
Except like he could have, with this environmental message of this episode, he could have used
Could have
that
fixed
orb
everything with the orb
to fix everything
before throwing it into space.
But
Straight up, the Warrior King could even arrive in the middle of that, and you could still just go, "Hey, can you give me 5 minutes?
yeah,
I'm just gonna fix all of our problems with this orb."
I'm not gonna drain it. It has unlimited power. We know that because we watched the other cartoons. So it's cool, dude. Can we just fix our planet just real quick?
Give a hoot. Don't pollute. I'm gonna fix everything with this orb.
Let's just real quick fix our planet so that Native American will stop crying.
Oh man, I still can't fucking believe that ad is real. Jesus Christ. Just the least productive way to communicate any message.
Yeah, but just let us fix Earth, and then you can take your orb, and you can just go right back home. But the fucking Warrior King was too busy hiding and cowering in this episode and not getting involved. He didn't.
Yeah, what a bitch.
He didn't get. Like,
Sorry.
it's true though. It's true. This world is the most like his own planet with with the magic and the dragons and all that kind of shit. Oh, I mean,
Yeah, it's got dragons that are jetified.
I don't mean human dragons like in Savage Dragon. I mean like actual dragons. Like he should have been like confused and thought that he was home for a minute, right?
That would have been interesting if they wanted to make it about the Warrior King, but smartly, I think they didn't do that.
Yeah. So Raiden's just like, we can't have this orb fall into corrupt hands ever again. I'm gonna chuck it into space. Opens a portal, fucking pitches it right through. And like there's this flash of light and everyone turns away. And as everyone turns away, we just see a shadowy version of the Warrior King
A silhouette of the Warrior King.
run onto the screen and jump into the portal after the orb. And that's it. That's all the fucking Warrior King did in this episode.
That absolutely makes me think this episode was written and already existed, and then they realized they needed to be part of some kind of crossover,
Yeah.
and they just tossed it in at the end and gave it an orb.
I think this was the catalyst for, they had this episode done with this magic orb, and it was just a MacGuffin, right? It was just an artifact.
Oh, you think the other way? Because I think this was the last.
No, and they were like, hey, let's make a spin-off about this traveling orb. So they wrote a story, and they did this little insert shot of the dude, the shadowy dude. Maybe that's why we don't even see what he actually looks like, because they hadn't designed him yet.
Maybe it's not the Warrior King.
Holy shit.
I mean, I imagine when we go watch Winning Commander, we'll play it that it is in fact the Warrior King, but
Probably. That's how the orb got to space. Hold on. What if that wasn't the Warrior King? What if that person just ended up going somewhere else? What if it was Shao Kahn? Holy shit.
Yeah, that could have been cool.
Big theory, boys, because Shao Kahn, his fortress looks like it's in space at the beginning of the episode, right?
Yeah, well, it is in space.
So he gets the orb in space, does all this kind of stuff, goes back to Earth. Raiden chucks the orb through the portal back into space. Shao Kahn chases it back in. That's how he gets the orb at the beginning of the episode. This is just like a Groundhog Day episode that's going to repeat over and over and over again.
At least we don't have to watch anything else, because that means the podcast is over.
Yeah.
All episodes will just do this forever.
Well, we haven't gotten our $1,000 yet, so we have to continue talking about Defenders of the Realm until that happens. Even when we run out of episodes, we got to start over.
Fair enough.
That'll be our own Groundhog Day.
I gotta say, it's very funny that this episode was so enjoyable to watch, especially relative to everything else.
Yeah.
Despite how brutally simple it is, perhaps because of how brutally simple it is. I genuinely couldn't tell you off the top of my head what made this episode better than the others. Perhaps it's just uncomplicated and the simplicity works. Like
I have a theory.
A game theory?
No.
Okay.
This episode had very, very little Stryker and Sonya.
It did. It had very little most people, but it definitely had very little them.
It had more Nightwolf. It had Jax, actually, like, Jax not being a baby about his metal arms. And it had a good villain. Like, honestly, this was the least Stryker and Sonya I think we've really gotten. Because usually, like, we don't always get both of them in an episode, but if it's a heavy Stryker one or a heavy Sonya one, it's not as good. It's just the way that the characters are written in this show.
And perform.
Yeah, and perform. Ron Perlman, come on the show.
Yeah, please.
I honestly think that that's part of it, is that they just focus on a different set of characters that we haven't spent that amount of time with. They kind of like got into some personal stuff with Raiden, and we had a good villain. That's all it needs.
Fingers crossed they keep doing that for 4 more episodes.
Fingers crossed. I do know that the last episode is going to be a heavy Katana episode, finally. That'll be exciting, because she's done fuck all in this entire series so far.
That's correct.
Yeah, she's done nothing. But that's it. I think we're done, right? Warrior King jump.
Oh, yeah, I think we're done. I think we can call it.
Jump through the portal into space, chasing after his orb. He wussed out in this episode and didn't get involved. If he had gotten involved, he could have just gone home. Raiden would have given him the orb and said, hey, go home, right? Raiden threw it through a portal. Raiden is the reason he's not going home right now. It's fucked up.
Oh, yeah, this could have easily solved his problem. I hadn't even considered that. What, he got stuck in traffic?
Yeah.
What was he doing?
I don't know.
That genuinely hadn't crossed my mind. We didn't even need the Wing Commander episode.
We didn't. It could have ended here. It could have ended here on like a nice note, right?
They shake hands and he rides off into the sunset.
And by could have ended here, I mean they could have used the orb to save Earthrealm, and then Defenders of the Realm could have also ended here.
That's true. I bet that orb could probably produce inter-realm protection.
Probably.
Like a barrier of some kind.
Yeah. They could have used it to like restore the natural resources to Outworld so that the people weren't dying and starving. They could have used it to restore Edenia. They could have done a lot of things with that orb. Dude throws it into space and then talks about teamwork.
Honestly, let's leave it. That's a good place. I think we're good.
All right, yeah. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's chase our own orbs into space. I got research.
Let's make the dream work.
I need at least a week to figure out what Wing Commander is. So, Corey, what do you have to promote besides your birthday? Happy birthday, buddy!
Thank you. It's cool to be. I don't know what my joke was. I didn't really have a joke ready, and then I realized I got deep into that sentence. But I'm just gonna say thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's just say thank you like a normal person would say and move on. They made another one as the other show that I do with my friends Liam and Mitch. Neil's been on it. So the episode that we have out this week is about Ghoulies 3.
Tight.
They go to college. They learn. They're aspiring to better themselves and get a higher education. And that's pretty good. Good for Ghoulies. And if you want to hear us talk about that, they made another one on all your podcast services. They made another on Twitter. And I'm on Twitter and Letterboxd at Mr. Corey Price.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Final Neil. Follow my retro gaming Instagram account at Final Neil Retro. The week this episode releases will be the week of my birthday. So ko-fi.com/mkpodquest.
Oh my God.
Send us both some birthday money. Why not? Fuck it.
Oh my God. If you have millions of dollars, do that.
Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at MK Podquest. Subscribe in your podcast app. Rate us and review us 5 stars. And we will be back next week to talk about the final part of the Warrior King's Orb crossover event, Wing Commander episode something. Episode 8?
It doesn't matter.
It's called either Recreation or Recreation.
I'm choosing to believe it's a recreation, and they're all going to go fucking bowling, and then up that chute, the orb is just going to be one of the bowling balls.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody knows what it does.
We'll find out next week when we figure out what Wing Commander is and talk about it. Then it'll be back to Mortal Kombat stuff again. Yay.
Promise.
We got like 5 episodes of Defenders of the Realm left, right? 10, 11. 4 episodes. 4 episodes after this one. Holy shit. Honestly, can't wait to be done.
Honestly, same. We're really suffering for this art.
Yeah. ko-fi.com/mkpodquest.